Oh.
Salut.
Salut. Okay.
Last week we had a conversation about our favorite movies. This week we'll be talking about celebrities. So, what do you define as a celebrity?
Oh my goodness. How do I define a celebrity? I think I would only go to, kind of what I grew up as understanding what a celebrity is, and it's probably someone I saw on TV.
Okay.
Someone that has, achieved something. But now, of course, we think celebrity athletes, and the definition has
Yeah.
expanded. But yeah, growing up, my only thought was, are they in a TV or a movie?
Okay, interesting. Yeah, because I was about to ask, do you count celebrities as athletes?
I
Or
think
athletes as celebrities?
I think there are some athletes that are just definitely celebrities.
Yeah, I think especially like different types of athletes in different countries. So like in the United States, we wouldn't see soccer players as celebrities necessarily,
Oh, I
but
think
in
they would.
England, they're huge.
I see that there's a difference.
Yeah.
I still think that people in the U.S. see them as celebrities, but maybe not
Okay.
in the same way that someone in England
Yeah.
would see them as celebrities. But I mean, I think of people like LeBron James,
Yeah.
who is just a massive celebrity and has done so much good with his celebrity. So as far as celebrity athletes, he's kind of top of the list for me. I think. I still think of Michael Jordan as a celebrity.
Yeah.
I absolutely do because that was my childhood. Well, not my childhood, my teenage years. We're not too much different in age. I mean, we're only a few years apart. So I think that, I definitely see athletes as celebrities.
Yeah.
And especially now, we've got the Olympics going
Oh
on.
yeah.
So we're seeing Simone Biles just show us, how a celebrity behaves in that she, defends herself, defends her fellow athletes, even from other countries. She stands with them. She doesn't stand above them. She stands with them, and I think that to use your celebrity in that manner, to kind of stand up for your husband and the way that she does, I think that she's done a beautiful job of that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like how she cheers on the other because there were times like when we were watching the all around gymnast finals, and
so
the gymnast from Brazil, Rebecca Andrade, Simone was like going up to her and saying like, "Oh, you're doing such a great job!" Like she was being so kind to her, and they were just like chatting and cheering each other on, and I think
I think I have a lot of respect for her, and I think sometimes when we throw out that word respect, especially for celebrities who we are never going to get to meet, we're never going to meet these people, and yet we can still see, like, we can learn good things from them, and we can still see how they're doing good things, and I certainly want my children to kind of be kind like that when they're in places with other people. So
yeah. Well, if there were a celebrity, even though you think you're not going, if you could meet any celebrity, who would it be, and also what celebrity do you think would be most likely that you would meet?
Well, that's a tough question. I would love to meet Kira Sedgwick. Mainly because she's married to Kevin Bacon, but also because I love the way she talks.
Yeah.
I love that she seems so down to earth, so normal, so I feel like we could just have a glass of wine together and just talk and just have fun. I really could, So she's one that I would definitely want to meet. I don't think I'd ever have an opportunity to meet her. Who do I think I possibly could meet? Well, maybe since you have grandparents that live near Washington D.C., maybe there's a chance I could, meet Pete Buttigieg. I don't know.
I thought you were gonna say Jill Biden, and I was like, yes.
Well, yeah, I would love to meet Dr. Jill Biden. I would love to meet Kamala Harris. I'd love to meet, the Obamas. I would love to meet anyone, who's kind of trying to educate the public on goodness, kindness, and fairness.
Yeah, just show up in DC and hobnob.
Oh yeah, I have tried that. Okay, so I've tried this. So a few places that we've stayed at in DC, your dad and I, like we met some of his friends for his 50th birthday, at a kind of a bar that we had been told was frequented by celebrities and others in the hobnobby part of Washington D.C. But they sat us out. When we sat down, so this was the funny thing.
They knew you weren't special people.
They knew we were not special. So we go in and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us. 5 of us. And so, we were celebrating their 50th birthdays, right? And so we go in and they asked if we had a reservation. We said no. And they said, well, we've got the perfect place for you. Oh, God. And they sit us outside of, like, not outside, not outside.
Yeah.
Like, away. So there's one, it looks almost like a couch with a coffee table.
Okay.
And maybe a big chair.
Yeah.
And it looks like we were waiting on a table. For the hours that we were sitting there drinking, it looked like we were waiting on a table, and that's where they sat us. They didn't sit us in the bar. That we did not get to go to the bar. We did not get an outdoor table. We didn't get an indoor table. We got sat on a couch outside of the facility, basically, and there were no other couches out there. There was ours, and so we kind of joked about it. Yeah. We're like, they're not going to let us in.
That was on purpose.
And so we still ordered our drinks. We had several cocktails, and we laughed, and they showed us the gun safe that holds the like $300,000 bottle of Macallan, and I was like, well, I'll take a glass of Macallan, but it was funny, and to look back on it, it's kind of hilarious, and think, okay, so now y'all know, I'm an outsider. I am seated on the outside. I'm not allowed in the inner circle, so I don't know how I would hobnob if I don't get the opportunity.
It's not that hard. You just have to kind of insert yourself. But you have to be very assertive about it.
And I'm not that confident.
You have to pretend you belong.
Yeah, so
it's not that hard to do.
I want to turn the question around on you, though. A celebrity that you, have respect for or, admire. And what are the chances who you think you'd get a chance to meet?
Well, right now, I really want to meet Jude Bellingham because he's a really good football player. Also, he plays in Spain, so it's mostly because I want to go to Spain.
Yeah.
I think if I use my theory of just insert yourself in places and be assertive, I could meet anyone.
Well, that's good confidence to have, and I like that confidence.
I go to a bar in Spain, and I'm just like, oh my God, he's there.
Do you think they actually go out in public? Do you think celebrities put themselves in a position to be seen? Because I'm going to tell you something I just saw on TikTok, and I'm sorry.
I mean,
I have to talk TikTok.
They do.
Supposedly, Will Smith was in Zurich because his plane couldn't leave yesterday, and at 5:30 in the morning, he was walking around Zurich, filming a little TikTok video, and I thought, I could have been there.
Yeah.
I could have walked around those empty streets and ran into him.
I almost met Tom Hiddleston because when I was at Regents, he and his wife and their baby were walking around Regents Park. And I was, literally 10 feet away from where they were. Yeah. In my dorm. I was 10 feet away from where they were walking.
Yeah, I just, I think that there's... I just don't see... I don't see people having kind of the nerve, if you're a celebrity, having the nerve to just be out without other celebrities kind of as support.
Well, I mean, a lot of them do because they're normal people.
I understand they're normal people, but, I mean, that's the thing, I understand they don't want paparazzi around them. I wouldn't blame them. I wouldn't want that either. So, but it's just... I just can't even imagine it.
Yeah, well, they have a lot of confidence because they're celebrities. So, I mean, some of them probably don't, but I know, like, celebrities like Tom Holland and Zendaya, they're, like, always out, like, together, like, doing stuff just in public. Yeah. So, you know.
Yeah. I cannot imagine if I were, well, you know, I've seen, I think I always freeze up, though. You know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So.
I don't know. Didn't you meet Michael Jordan once?
Well.
Or LeBron James, one of them?
No, not LeBron James.
Okay.
No. Before Michael Jordan was, he was still at UNC at Chapel Hill. Yes, I met Michael Jordan I was touring campus and talking to some of the athletes and coaches because I was considering a softball run there at UNC Chapel Hill. And so, yes, in that manner, I got to meet several of the basketball players. Sam Perkins was running across campus and kind of ran into us and, you know.
Yeah, I don't know
almost
that many
knocked me
basketball
over
players, so.
Sorry. And then, you know, he's yelling at Matt Doherty. He's up in his dorm and he comes out, you know, playing the air guitar on his tennis racket in his boxers. And so that was kind of like, okay. And then, so yeah, there were, you know, several of the basketball players. And because one of the girls that we were there to see, a cousin of one of the people that was in the group with us, she played basketball also at Chapel Hill. So it was to be able to, we were just kind of there. But this was way before, you know, the phenomenon of, you know, of all that. So would he remember that moment?
No, probably not.
No.
But I mean, you know.
No, he has many more moments of that. And I've seen him a few times after that, you know, seen him in spaces, in restaurants and different things like that. And, you know, I always tried to make eye contact, you know, but you know, it was just, it was never, it's not like we're friends.
Yeah. I mean, I met Corbin Blue once at the stage door for Kiss Me Kate, and he definitely doesn't remember who I am. I took a picture with him, but like...
Yeah.
You know.
It's so funny because, you know, they do have so much going on in their lives.
Yeah.
We have so much going on in our lives. We don't remember everything.
Yeah, we don't
either.
remember everyone we meet.
Yeah, absolutely not. So that's kind of funny. But I would say if I could... you know, there's just so many people that I want to kind of just sit in their space and learn from. So many wonderful people that have, you know, really touched lives and really tried to make the world a better place. I wish I could be just kind of the fly on the wall in many, many spaces.
Yeah.
So, just to learn, because I think we all still have a lot to learn.
Yeah,
I have a long way to go. I'm not there yet.
Oh my.
And it's funny, yeah, because I do think when I think of celebrities, I do think of these people that are just so out of touch.
Yeah, some of them definitely are. Yeah.
I don't mean out of touch in like. They only think of themselves. I know that there's that crop of people, but you know, I think that there are fewer like that. I think that most people do want to do good with you know what with the talents and you know the lives that they want to lead. I think they want to do good for the majority of people, but I think they also want to feel like they have some space to do it their way, you know. So I don't think most people want to do bad.
No.
But sure do wish I was in Zurich at 5:30 this morning. What in the world?
You want to meet Will Smith?
Well, you know, I mean, I love that that documentary he did about our planet. So things like that. I know he's had some rough things in the past few years, and I feel kind of awkward about that. Yeah. Because I think that we all have moments that we probably wish we had handled differently. I don't know if he wishes that. Maybe he's proud of that moment. I don't know. That's not my business. But I do, as far as like some of the good that he has done, absolutely. And he's made some really great movies, and yeah. So it would be kind of funny.
Well, I mean, you just gotta, like, start figuring out where they go and then just like
I don't want to be a
like
stalker.
Yeah, no.
And it's so funny because when I was younger, I really think I did have stalker mentality.
Yeah.
I absolutely, because I would go to golf tournaments and, take my camera and I would just take pictures of whoever. And you know what? Celebrities didn't care, at a tournament or something like that. They absolutely did not care. Yeah. So I have some great pictures of some older, athletes, celebrities, politicians at golf tournaments that, this was way before 9/11, 2001. So, we could just kind of get into golf tournaments. Yeah. We'd buy a ticket and we could take our camera and things like that weren't, nobody thought anything of it.
Yeah. But you also didn't have social media, so
absolutely.
You couldn't post it everywhere.
Absolutely. I could not. And so I think that, I met, as far as celebrities, there were some that, there were people I didn't know who they are. And you don't know who I am? No. Because they were hockey players. I don't know hockey players. Yeah. And it was just so funny to kind of, then it was all of a sudden they wanted to have a conversation with me. Yeah. Because I didn't know who they were. And I was trying to get former President Gerald Ford's photo, because I was trying to get that, because he was riding in a cart with Dean Smith, the coach from UNC Chapel Hill, and I thought, this is what a great shot, the two of them together, and but no, then I think his name was Bobby Hull or something. I don't know. He said, you don't know, and I'm like, I don't know hockey. I don't know hockey, so no, I don't know who you are. Are you sure you don't know I do not know who you are, and I don't think that you're telling me the truth. I said,
oh my goodness.
So yeah, that was kind of funny.
No, sometimes I wonder how many celebrities we've passed by on the street and just didn't realize it.
I do wonder that. I do wonder, in the U.S. you have to drive everywhere, and I often wonder, because I am certain that one time on a trip from North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina area to Washington, D.C., I am certain that Peyton Manning passed me. Certain that he passed me. And I didn't know it because there was this fancy little silver sports car. Yeah. And there were two people in it. And then at one point, they got stuck in traffic. So I ended up beside that car again. And all I saw was the blonde woman that was in the car. And then they showed, a few days later, there was, a football thing. And they showed Peyton Manning and his brother and their wives. And I swear it was the same blonde woman. So I was like, wait a minute.
Maybe it was a decoy.
It could have been. It could have been. But I was like, that makes sense. Okay, now, because I can't remember the license plate. But it was a vanity plate, and I couldn't remember what it said. But I was like, that makes sense why that. Yeah. And so, but anyway, only because I thought I recognized his wife.
I had kind of an experience like that when I was in London when we were going to Hyde Park to watch the Queen's funeral. We were past, a group of us were walking, and Jill Biden and Joe Biden, their car drove past us. And we didn't know it until, they were way farther down, but it was crazy. I was like, oh my God. I was the only one that was, a big fan of Jill Biden, so I was like, you gotta be kidding me, guys.
I will say, I read part of her dissertation. I couldn't find the entire dissertation online. I looked up hers and Michelle Obama's dissertation to read them. And I will say Dr. Biden's dissertation is something that I am more interested in learning more about, because she does talk about, that intersection of, who goes to a community college, what students, what population do we see at a community college, which has always been important to me. Now, I saw it from the perspective of autistic students, but she brings that perspective of how, the population in a community college represents so much of, America. Yeah. And how she, talked about the importance of education, and that the people that attended this particular community college where she was working, when she was writing her dissertation, there were mothers, single mothers, people who had lost their jobs, and they're going back to get education to try to find a better job. There were students who needed to take remedial classes because they didn't do so well in the high school but they wanted to go to college, and so they go there and they have to take remedial classes. And this is a big thing in the United States. It's huge issue with our education system, but that's another thing. But I just reading that dissertation, I thought, this is a celebrity, somebody I think of as a celebrity that I felt a connection to. I mean, I really felt that connection in that I also see the importance of the community college as a centerpiece of every town.
Yeah.
And of course, not every town has a community college, but those that do, they seem that town does do a little better as far as the economy and the students that are in high school kind of pursuing maybe more. They have that something to look toward.
Yeah.
And so I think community colleges are important. And I really liked what she was saying in her dissertation. Yeah. So I feel a connection to that celebrity, even though it's not a...
Have you ever tried to do the 6 degrees of separation from any celebrity? Who do you think would be closest?
I don't know. Well,
Michael Jordan.
because I've actually been in that space with him a few times, even though we're not friends yet. But God, I've thought about that so many times, and I think I get kind of bogged down into it being an exact that I can't seem to figure it out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're 2 degrees of separation from Ariana DeBose because we know someone who danced with her.
Yes, absolutely.
And so from there you can go to a lot of places.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, that's true. And I think...
Even Steven Spielberg, we'd be 3 degrees of separation from Steven Spielberg because she was in a movie that he directed.
Okay.
Yeah. West Side Story.
Yep.
Which makes us 4 degrees of separation from Tom Holland because he knows Steven Spielberg. See? It's like that. Keep going. Yeah.
That's okay. I see that. I think it's kind of hard for me to think in that way.
Because Tom Holland knows Mbappe.
Okay. Oh, and I saw an older gentleman yesterday on the train with his Mbappe shirt on, and I just giggled right behind him. And so
that's so mean.
I was just like, I should tell Brooke and I should take his photo, but that would be weird. And so I didn't. But yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh. Maybe you'll get to meet him one day.
Maybe. It was so crowded everywhere we went yesterday. I'll bet there was a good chance that there was somebody.
It's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, because I think everyone wanted to be on that same boat that we were on yesterday. It was.
Maybe Jan Sommer was on the boat.
He's somebody
huge
must
celebrity
have been
in Switzerland.
And it was so funny because we knew that boat was going to be crowded, so we upgraded to first class. And so we knew that. And see, some of the boats we've been on this summer haven't had that separation of class. Yeah. So, we were like, oh, have all the boats just kind of quit going first class, second class? But yesterday we saw that there was a second class sign. And so I thought, well, there must be a first class. So we looked to see if we could upgrade. Sure enough, we could. And then we realized that a lot of people in line who were speaking English didn't realize there was a separation of the classes. And they were saying, oh, we're going to go up there to the top. We're going to go up there to the top. And I was thinking, no, you're not. And so they did. And they got told.
Yeah.
Either you go downstairs and buy an upgrade or you stay downstairs.
Yeah.
And so, a lot of people did kind of get kicked off. There was this one gentleman, and I honestly could not tell if I thought his accent sounded more Australian, but his son sounded more English.
Interesting. Okay.
So I could not tell where they were from. But anyway,
they could be from both.
Right.
He could be from Australia.
I know,
and
I thought that. I thought about that. And so he asked us to take a photo of them.
Okay.
And so I took a few pictures of the two of them with the lake in the background and on the boat. And so they were some of the ones that had been told to go down and either buy an upgrade. And so when they left, your dad says, well, they're getting rid of some of them. Well, then they came back, right? They had bought the upgrade.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was interesting that, that people really did not even, they didn't, and because the distinction of the class, first class and second class, was very clear when you walk on the boat.
Yeah.
It's very clear, points in both directions where you can go for second class.
Yep.
And then there's a sign for first class that points up.
Okay.
And they were also telling you, but of course they were speaking in German. So in most of the tourists that were not speaking in German, that got the classes mixed up. And so, but within 10 minutes of being on the boat, they got most people back to where they were supposed to be, or either people paid for the upgrade. But so we did kind of thin out up top where we were at. And so, which I was kind of glad of, because I really like that boat ride, because there's, a couple good waterfalls to see. And it's just, it's not that long. Yeah. And so, we could kind of go do our thing. And but yeah, it was kind of funny how, I did I immediately, as soon as I'm in a crowd, I always think, I wonder if there's a celebrity.
Yeah, I mean, you never know.
You're right. You don't know. And sometimes I'm so engrossed in what I'm doing, as far as like if I'm, like we have vacation planned next week, and so I'll be so focused on who I'm there with. Yeah. That I really won't notice if somebody else is around. I wouldn't notice a celebrity.
We should go celebrity sleuthing sometime.
I don't know how to do that.
Not to go up to people, just to be like, oh my God, look.
Yeah. I don't know how to do that. And so...
you go around places like London or New York or LA and like... Yeah.
I will say, I love walking around New York. I love walking around New York. And I feel confident enough now that, okay, now it's been a couple of years, so I would get lost again. Yeah. But I felt like the last time I was there, I had been around Central Park enough. Yeah. I'd gone different ways that I felt comfortable. I felt like, okay, you know what? I could actually come here by myself. And be comfortable. Yeah. I
mean, you could probably easily figure it out. One, because you have a map on your phone, and two, because, the streets are numbered.
Well, that, and also, the taller buildings, the places that, you can kind of navigate your way by following, the Chrysler building or so you can find your way through things like that. And so, but yeah, I felt so confident the last time I was in New York. I thought I could really come here by myself and be okay.
I do love New York.
Yeah, it's so alive. Yeah. There's so much going on. I love Chicago, too. Don't get me wrong. I know I've said that a couple of times on here. I love Chicago. But I love Chicago because of the pier. You've got the water, and then there's just so much going on.
Water in New York, too.
I know. Well, I will say, I love going around the park. And yes, I absolutely love being out there, at the waterfront. So yeah, Battery Park, we can look right across, we can go from Battery Park, we can look across and see the Statue of Liberty and things. It's just, there's so many good art pieces and things to think about, the history there. Yeah. So, I love New York. So, okay, we could go around New York. Yeah.
I think if I were to live in the U.S. again, I'd live in New York.
I tell you what, I know where we're going to go to do some sleuthing.
Okay.
We're going to go to Wrexham.
Oh, let's do it. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that might be pretty easy. Oh my God, it's Deadpool.
Yeah. And you'll see. I think that, we could go to Wrexham because I'm loving that show.
It's your new favorite football team.
I absolutely love the show. I love the women's team. I'm a big fan, and
so I haven't gotten to where they're like showing the women's team.
Yeah.
Yet, so.
Okay. It's really, really good, and I would some of the people that are considered just the run of the mill citizen. In Wrexham are now celebrities. Yeah. And some of them actually went to, when Wrexham did the tour of the U.S. In 2023, some of those celebrities, local celebrities, went with them. Like the guy that owns the bar went with them. And when he was in North Carolina, which I so would have been at Chapel Hill that day, if we were still there. When he was in North Carolina, people just were coming up to us and said, "We know you. We're just, we're gonna come to the turf." And I thought, yeah, when I go, I'm going to the turf. I absolutely will go to the turf.
Also, going to a football game, in England, that's a really good way to meet celebrities.
Okay, I just
apparently.
I will say, we've done a lot of, we've done. We've been to NFL games. We've been to NHL games. Your dad's been to NBA games. I've been to an NBA game before.
I think I went to an NBA game.
I'm not sure.
With Corey and Dad, maybe.
Okay, maybe. And
I went to a basketball game. You went
to the NCAA tournament. You actually got out of school. Okay. I'll never forget that. Because I was supposed to get to go.
I got out of school early, yeah.
And I had...
We went to Subway.
I had a training that I had that I could not miss. And so I had to give up my ticket. And so your dad said, well, we'll just let Brooke go. And I'll never forget. When I told Mr. Lotsky what was going on, he was like, oh, no, she's not. I'm not letting her leave school. Not to go see Duke play. And it was just so funny. And then, that was kind of funny. Yeah. That, he was like, no, not for this. She's not getting to go. She's not going to go.
I didn't even know. Like, I just got out of school early. I wasn't even told. I just was like, okay.
Yeah.
Getting out of school early, right?
Yeah, that was kind of funny. I hate that I didn't get to go because, I like going. Corey and your dad are kind of fun to hang out with when they're together. It's so fun. Not that your dad's not fun to hang out with. Your dad's fun to hang out with. But, most of the time. But, he just is so relaxed around his brother. I guess he likes being big brother. Yeah. And so I don't, not necessarily the power of it, but just the pride that he has of being big brother. And so he is a little more fun to be around when Corey's around. Yeah.
Well, I've also been to professional baseball games. Oh my
yes. God. Oh yeah, we've been to baseball games. Yeah. We have. Yeah. So we've done a lot of the professional sport stuff and college sport stuff when we were in the U.S. Yeah. And I just never even thought of it
here at all.
I mean, I worked at a professional baseball stadium, and I met celebrities there. I didn't even think about that. I met John Cena.
What?
He threw out the first pitch of a baseball at the Mudcats several years ago, and my stand was the stand that was not busy. So I came to my stand.
That's cool.
So yeah, that was
You met John Cena.
I thought, So,
oh my gosh.
I think your dad was actually a little teeny bit jealous. Because I came home and said, guess who hugged me today? But, he's like, what?
Or like, when the Women's Euros is playing here, we'll have to go to the final game, and then we'll probably meet some celebrities.
I would like to think I'm going to be here and working so that I can afford to take us to that game. Yeah. I absolutely want to go to some of the games.
Maybe C permit holders can get a discount on tickets.
Yeah, wouldn't that be awesome? Yeah. And besides, and anybody listening in Switzerland that wants to give me a job, I have skills. Few skills, but yeah, it's funny. I just it was funny that changed everything for me. I mean, I was ready to move back to the US, and then I get a residency permit that tells me, oh, you can open a business, you can buy a house, you can buy property. Suddenly my outlook changed. And as much as I still need a job so I can be able to travel to the U.S. at least twice a year to spend time with the others, but now it's different. Yeah. So now my reason for work is different. Yeah. I still want to be able to take time off to be able to be with them for several weeks at a time. So it's funny. I need a special kind of job that is flexible and makes enough money for those trips and. That thing, so Yeah. Oh. But I don't think it's going to be celebrity.
No. Well, I mean, if you get really big on TikTok.
Oh, well, I don't know that my message is what everyone wants to hear. My message is, I think it's personal and it's true for me. but I don't know that it's what everyone wants and needs. And I can't like be not real. I like to think it, I mean, it's what I call honest. I mean, and it is honest to my perspective, and I know it might not be honest to everybody else. I get that everybody has a different perspective. I understand that, but it's my kind of truth.
Yeah,
it's my truth.
You could start learning TikTok dances and do those. I think you'd be good at that.
Here's the thing. Wouldn't it be fun if we could do like Moms of TikTok challenges?
Well, you can start one.
Okay, so
I'm sure there are plenty though.
I know, and I have to get to a point that I'm okay with someone being better than me. I just got to be okay with that, because dance is not going to be my thing. I love to dance when nobody's watching. It's actually good exercise for me, and I'll never get the way that I avoided talking to people at the wedding was to stay on the dance floor so that no one, I didn't feel the need to have to carry on chit chat and conversations of when I was uncomfortable. I just stayed on the dance floor, which is fun to me, And I was so tired the next day, and we had to fly out. Oof. Oh dear God, I was so exhausted, and I think I was tired for 3 days after that when we got back. But it was okay because I was finishing up my dissertation at that time, so I just would. I'd wake up at 3 a.m, and I'd be able to kind of piece some things together, and I could really think clearly at that time of the morning. And then by the time, I would have things kind of finished up enough for my dissertation chair to read over it, I could get it to her. And it would be in her inbox before she woke up. Yeah. And then I would kind of sleep, kind of in the afternoon. And but yeah, I just, that was... Yeah, let's think of a dance. Let's think of. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think I don't want to challenge people to things that are pushy and trying to show off my. Okay. I don't want to do that kind of challenge. I just want to be. Let's challenge each other to always be supportive of each other. Okay. That's my mom TikTok challenge. So. That's kind of funny. It's so, isn't it funny how we have our roles, and in our roles we tend to try to make a circle and try to bring people into a circle like moms of TikTok, and it's so funny because TikTok's not really for people my age. That's not true. But we do have a lot to teach. I mean, we have wisdom that, not everybody else has. And so I guess there's positive in that. But still, it's not a medium that I'm comfortable with. But I still, I still feel like, I every time one of y'all has left the house, moved out or gone off to college, there was always this moment of, oh, I didn't teach them this. And I'm having that now. So I think that's where I see TikTok as a good role for me, in that I can say, okay, well, I forgot to tell you this, but this is what I want you to know now. And, kind of, not that I want to leave some kind of weird legacy on TikTok. But, I still don't think it's going to make me a lot of money.
Yeah, well, there's, other social medias too. Honestly, it's not that it's easy to do social media, because it's actually, it's a lot of work, but, it is one of the easiest ways to get, famous and a lot of money now.
Well, I wouldn't say a lot of money, but I can see
some
how,
people get a lot of money.
I could see, but it's still just like anything else. You gotta know somebody. Yeah. You gotta know somebody with a big platform that's willing to kind of give you that boost.
Or you have
it's
to be
just
really,
like trying
really
to find
good at something.
A job. Well, even people that are really, 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 really good at stuff. Because let me tell you, there are some people on TikTok that can sing that are so, so, so good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just so impressed with some of the work product that they put out, and I don't think that they don't have millions of followers.
Yeah.
And I think that it's such a shame because it's just like, wow, they make me feel good. I like to hear them. I love to see kids doing well with their art and their talent. I just feel like I could adopt just being everybody's mom. And that's kind of, that's the feel good I get from that. But I still think it's just like everything else. You've got to know somebody.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I think, especially like our situation being in a different country, I'm going to have to know somebody to get that job. And it's just, and it's a shame. It shouldn't be that way. It's a shame that there's just not enough out there for everyone to do something to be able to kind of pay their bills. Yeah. Everyone should be able to have a job where they don't have to. It shouldn't be a job where they're not happy.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't have to, everybody shouldn't have to be a celebrity to be able to, pay their way.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a shame, kind of the system that we've grown into, because it wasn't always like this.
Yeah.
It wasn't always that, you had to have, celebrity type followings.
Yeah.
To be able to pay for college.
Yeah.
And
or
it just
get a job. I know.
Or get a job. Period.
Trying to be trying to get into dance and then also choreography. It's gonna be impossible for me unless I have a big following.
Right.
On something, which is really tough because I don't have a way to get that following.
Yeah. Yeah. It's and I think that. I think that we shouldn't try to fool ourselves into thinking it's going to happen. But I do want you to have the confidence to think that, well, it could happen.
Yeah.
I don't want you to not be confident. I want you to know that, well, it definitely could happen. But I also want you to know that the reality is that it's going to take a lot of work.
Yeah.
I mean, you might have to work, 8, 12 hours a day just on building your portfolio and then posting it online.
Yeah.
So, you might have to spend 6 hours a day, developing a piece and then perfecting it. So it might take 2 days of filming and perfecting that piece and then, kind of posting it all over different social media sites. And that's hard work.
Yeah, it is. Because I've done a lot of that too.
So you just have to keep doing that kind of thing. I think that, it's like I said, I do think it's a shame that I'm not saying, please don't take this wrong. I'm not saying there's too many people in the world, because that's going to make me sound like I want people to have less children. And I can't say that because I had 5, so I would be hypocritical to say don't have kids. But I think that we are at a point, I don't want to say a breaking point, but we're at a point that we need to recognize that we need more jobs. We need more... We need more infrastructure available for artists like you, for artists and for people, like me that, I chose to stay home.
Yeah.
But I also chose to further my education later so that I could then contribute. And now I can't because I can't get, my foot in the door. Yeah. And so I think there need to be more open doors. More open doors with a welcoming that says, let's figure out what we can do together. Because I don't even see, I don't see the open door.
Yeah.
And so, and I think that, there need to be open doors for people who aren't comfortable in social situations. There need to be open doors for people who have to learn on the job. And I think there need to be open doors for older candidates like me. I think that, we're not opening the doors. I mean, we're at a point where so many places so many careers. We're at that point of nepotism has taken over.
Yeah.
And people don't want to admit it. They don't want to admit that they were a product of, oh yeah, well, my mom and dad, just happened to, own this great business, or they happen to do great in this field, so I can just kind of follow in their footsteps. People don't want to admit that, but I mean, we're at that point.
Yeah.
We're at that point in society. And I think that once we admit it and we start saying, well, let's open doors for other people for this or for that. And then we can kind of find the right way to move forward. Because, what a shame that there are people, moving to other countries that might have great recipes that they could share and open a new restaurant or foods like that and things like that. And we don't, but they don't have that capital to do it. They don't have the money to just throw it down and say, let's do this. And I think that's just kind of, it's just kind of where we're at. There's more people than jobs. There's people in jobs, and rightly so. Look, trust me, if I were the owner of some, my kids would have a job. I mean, I wouldn't. I would make sure that you knew the job.
Yeah.
I would make sure that you were good at the job, and I think that most people that kind of gone into positions, I think most people are, good at that job. I'm not saying they got it only because of who their parents were, but I'm just saying, but there's some very few that are not. And it's just okay. But anyway, we're getting off subject, so we want to thank you for listening today, and we hope you enjoyed the conversation.
We'll be back next week with a new bottle of wine and a new topic. In the meantime, if you want to join the conversation, follow us on Instagram and TikTok @WineTogetherPod.